Hey guys, when Street Outlaws first roared onto TV screens more than a decade ago, it wasn't just another reality show. It was a raw, unfiltered glimpse into the underground world of street racing. It was dirty, dangerous, and authentic. The original Oklahoma City 405 crew, Big Chief, Murder Nova, Daddy Dave, Doc, and the rest, weren't actors, they were racers. The cameras didn't script their words or stage their rivalries. What fans got was a genuine portrayal of a subculture few had ever seen. Fast forward 12 years, and the show that once captivated millions is limping across the finish line. As of October 2025, the sixth season of No Prep Kings, the final installment under the Street Outlaws banner, is posting record-low ratings. Just 182,000 viewers on October 13, 2025, following a season premiere that barely scraped 213,000. To put that in perspective, early seasons regularly drew over 1 million viewers per episode. The show that began as a breakout success has sputtered out with less than a fifth of its original audience. So what happened? How did Street Outlaws, once Discovery Channel's crown jewel, fall so hard and so fast? The answer lies not in the racers, but in the producers. Over the years, the more television executives and production teams tried to improve the show, the more they drained it of the very authenticity that made it special. Season 1 of Street Outlaws wasn't supposed to work. In fact, network insiders at the time reportedly doubted it would even make it through a full season. It was too niche, too gritty, and too unpredictable for mainstream TV. But that was precisely why it succeeded. Viewers weren't tuning in for polished drama or reality show cliches. They came for the sound of horsepower echoing through dark streets, the nervous laughter before a sketchy pass, and the bragging rights that came with owning the list. There were no actors, no fake feuds, and no pre-approved storylines. The racers filmed what they lived. The chemistry among the 405 crew was electric because it was real. You could feel the camaraderie, the rivalries, and the genuine passion that tied these racers together. Fans felt like insiders, part of a world that wasn't polished or produced, but alive. That unfiltered magic is what catapulted Street Outlaws from a local curiosity to a cultural phenomenon. For several seasons, it was one of the highest-rated cable reality shows in America. But as the show's popularity grew, so did the producers' interference. Instead of letting the racers tell their own story, the production team began steering the narrative, deciding which rivalries to highlight, which racers to feature, and even who could appear in what spin-off. By the time No Prep Kings rolled around, the show was almost unrecognizable. The raw street races had been replaced with polished events at sanctioned tracks, complete with sponsorships, camera crews, and corporate logos. What was once rebellious and unpredictable became commercial and formulaic. And it wasn't just the format that changed. The behind-the-scenes control became suffocating. Production dictated not only how the races were filmed, but also what the racers could do outside of the show. At one point, the TV producers reportedly told cast members not to post their own racing videos or podcasts, fearing it would dilute the brand. That decision now looks absurd. In an age where even the NFL encourages players to build their personal brands on social media, Street Outlaws clung to an outdated model of control. The very racers who built the show's fanbase were being told to stay quiet, to let the network handle their image. The result? Fans lost their personal connection to the racers. The guys who once seemed like your buddies from down the street became distant, overproduced TV characters. It's almost poetic and tragic how the most hands-on season in Street Outlaws history has also been its worst performing. The 182,000 viewer episode from October 13, 2025, isn't just a low point. It's an undeniable signal that the audience has checked out. Think about the irony. The first season, the one the network thought would flop, became the most beloved. The final season, the one with the highest production involvement, has become the most ignored. Every decision that producers made in the name of growing the brand, spinning off new shows, restricting racer freedom, turning organic rivalries into scripted storylines, slowly bled away what fans came for in the first place. One of the biggest missteps came when producers started isolating the 405 crew. When Fastest in America launched, the 405 wasn't even allowed to participate, reportedly because Discovery wanted to force viewers to watch No Prep Kings instead. That decision was catastrophic. Fans who loved the Oklahoma City team, the heart and soul of Street Outlaws, felt betrayed. Fastest in America lacked the personalities and chemistry that made the original show great. Meanwhile, No Prep Kings became a glossy tournament show that prioritized production value over authenticity. In trying to control where fans' attention went, producers instead fractured the fanbase entirely. Instead of one strong show with loyal viewers, the franchise ended up with several weaker ones, each losing steam faster than the last. The heart of the problem comes down to a cultural clash between real racers and television producers. Racers live by passion, pride, and a relentless need to go faster. Producers live by numbers, advertising, and ratings. When the show started, those two worlds worked in harmony. The racers did their thing, and the cameras just captured it. But over time, the producers wanted more control. They wanted predictable storylines, dramatic arcs, and manufactured tension. The problem: street racing doesn't work like that. You can't script who wins, who crashes, or who quits. That unpredictability is what made the show real. But to the network, unpredictability meant risk. So they fixed it, and in doing so, broke the magic. Looking back, the story of Street Outlaws is almost a cautionary tale about what happens when corporate television tries to package authenticity. At its peak, Street Outlaws was more than a show, it was a movement. It inspired fans to build cars, join small-town drag scenes, and follow the racers online. It helped launch the careers of countless builders and tuners. It made ordinary gearheads into household names. But instead of trusting that grassroots spirit, the network smothered it with overproduction. They forgot that people weren't watching for flashy graphics or dramatic voiceovers. They were watching because they believed in the racers. Now, as the final episodes air to dwindling numbers, it's hard not to see the writing on the wall. The very thing that made Street Outlaws special, its unfiltered authenticity, is gone. What's left feels like a hollow shell of its former self, a show built by TV executives instead of racers. When the last season wraps, Street Outlaws will leave behind a complicated legacy. It changed reality TV forever, proving that real people doing real things could beat out scripted nonsense. But it also showed how fragile that magic is once producers start tinkering with it. For the fans who've stuck around since day one, the final season feels less like a farewell and more like a funeral. The roaring engines, the backstreet bragging, the all-night races, those moments that once defined the show, have been replaced by carefully staged competition and sponsor logos. The producers may have had good intentions, but in trying to make Street Outlaws better, they forgot why it was great. So when the final credits roll and the lights go out on No Prep Kings, it won't just be the end of a show. It'll be the end of an era. Because Street Outlaws didn't die from lack of interest. It died from too much interference. The producers didn't just ruin Street Outlaws, they raced it straight into the ground. What makes the decline of Street Outlaws sting even more is how preventable it all was. Fans weren't asking for massive changes, high-budget production, or network-driven drama. They wanted exactly what Season 1 delivered: real cars, real people, real races. Instead of listening to the viewers who made the show successful, producers chased a broader audience that never materialized. In doing so, they alienated the loyal base that had supported the show for over a decade. The result was a show caught between two worlds, too polished for street racing diehards, yet too niche for casual TV watchers. It satisfied no one. The racers themselves saw the writing on the wall long before the ratings collapsed. Many of them increasingly shifted their energy toward YouTube channels, podcasts, and independent content, the very things producers discouraged early on. Ironically, these platforms kept the racers relevant far longer than the TV show did. Some racers have larger online followings than Street Outlaws has viewers now. It shows that the personalities behind the cars still resonate with fans. It's the TV packaging that failed. Had production embraced digital content instead of resisting it, the franchise might have evolved rather than decayed. Another major factor in the downfall was the shift from relatable builds to millionaire-level race cars. Early fans loved seeing the 405 guys wrench on real street cars in their garages. But as the seasons went on, the cars became more extreme, more expensive, and more disconnected from what ordinary viewers could realistically aspire to. When you go from steel-bodied turbocharged street machines to $500,000 no-prep monsters, you lose the connection to grassroots gearheads. The producers pushed for bigger, faster, flashier, but in doing so, they erased the blue-collar charm that defined the show. There's also the issue of fatigue. Street Outlaws had so many spin-offs: the 405, New Orleans, Memphis, Fastest in America, No Prep Kings, Mega Cash Days, Endgame, that each one diluted the brand a little more. Instead of quality over quantity, the producers opted for constant output. But fans can only watch so many versions of the same format before it becomes repetitive. What once felt special eventually began to feel routine, predictable, and overexposed. The franchise went from must-see TV to background noise. Viewers also noticed the growing sense of staging. Whether or not races were scripted is beside the point. The feeling that things were being manipulated became unavoidable. When every episode needed a dramatic twist or forced rivalry, the authenticity that built the franchise evaporated. Fans aren't stupid. They can tell when drama is organic and when it's manufactured. And once doubt creeps in, trust is almost impossible to rebuild. Producers underestimated how much viewers valued the honesty of those early seasons. The final insult came when the racers themselves started acknowledging their frustrations on social media. Fans could sense the tension, the exhaustion, and the lack of creative control. When the stars of the show openly admit that the magic is gone, it's only a matter of time before the fans agree. Instead of working collaboratively with the racers, the true heart of the franchise, production treated them like replaceable pieces in a larger machine. The result was a show stripped of its soul. Now, as Street Outlaws enters its final weeks, the legacy feels bittersweet. The racers remain beloved, the culture around no prep and small tire racing is stronger than ever, and the YouTube scene is thriving. In a sense, street racing lives on, just not on television. If anything, the downfall of Street Outlaws proves that genuine passion will always outlast corporate attempts to commercialize it. Fans will follow real racers anywhere except into overproduced, creatively suffocating television. The producers didn't just mismanage a show, they misunderstood a community. And in doing so, they turned a once revolutionary series into a cautionary tale about how not to handle authenticity.